Okay, groceries are done. Time to do some dog training. Let's go. Hello, Jose here from Train Me Please. Today, coming when called. Teaching a dog to calm when called can be one of the most important things we can teach our dogs. For some dogs, in some circumstances, a reliable recall can save their lives. The recall behavior is often a challenging one because sometimes we need it in situations in which there are many competing reinforcers and distractions. Keep this in mind. Every time you call your dog to come to you, you are asking the dog to stop whatever he or she is doing. I am going to recommend that you avoid using punishment when teaching your dog to calm when called, and also to avoid repeating the cue over and over if the dog is not responding. This will generate a process of habituation and make it less likely for the dog to respond to the cue in the future. We want to teach a reliable recall as part of a super fun behavior that the dog really enjoys taking part in. We are going to do our very best to convince the dog that coming when called and being near us is a great idea, and it's a choice full of amazing opportunities. There are several levels to this behavior. For purposes of simplicity in this video, let's assume that the recall behavior is a 3-level behavior. Level 1 can be at home and without any distractions. Level 2 can be just in front of the house or in a well-known location to the dog. Level 3 can be in a new location with potential distractions. Each dog will have different needs and many will likely need more levels. For Pixel, for example, it would be unfair to try to teach this straight away in the proximity of young children and trams. This would come later after mastering some easier setups. There are many wonderful and fun exercises that you can do with your dog to teach a reliable recall. Let's talk about 2 of my favorite ones. 1. Yo-yo recall. With the dog on leash, place a treat away from you and then move in the other direction, making interesting sounds with your voice. As soon as the dog makes the decision of following you, click or say yes and offer reinforcement. Once you have some success with that, you can use the vocal cue come or here when the dog is just about to finish her treat. Once again, mark and reinforce the behavior. A possible variation of this exercise is to have a second person distracting the dog with a toy or some food when you are calling her. 2. Restrained recall. You will need a second person for this one. One of you gently holds the dog by the chest while the other one makes interesting sounds. The puppy is released, and as soon as she takes off, mark the behavior with a click or yes, and then offer several treats when the dog gets to you. You can move backwards and sideways when the puppy is arriving to make it more interesting. You can then start to use the cue come or here. That's the moment the other person should release the dog. Once again, mark the behavior and reinforce as before. A few additional suggestions and considerations. 1. Only use the vocal cue if you are at least 95% sure that the dog will come. If you're not sure, just keep making interesting noises to get the dog's attention. This will avoid poisoning the recall cue or word. 2. Click or say yes as soon as the dog takes off, as soon as the dog makes that decision to run towards you, not when the dog is already with you. 3. When the dog gets to you, you should offer some amazing reinforcement upon arrival. Make it a bit of an event with some duration and several treats being offered in quick succession. 4. If you recall the dog in an off-leash area, it is a good idea to sometimes put the leash on, offer some additional reinforcers, take the leash off, and send the dog back out to sniff or play again. 5. Do lots of engagement and attention exercises. Link to some additional information about this in the description under the video. 6. I usually do not overthink, reinforce a magnitude too much, but for the recall behavior, it is generally a good idea to offer several treats when the dog comes to you, especially in a distracting environment. It is probably a good idea, at least sometimes, to do a few quick, fun behaviors when the dog gets to you. 7. Out in the open, for this training, I recommend a comfortable back attachment harness and a long leash. I will link some of my favorite harnesses and long leashes in the description under the video. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and hit that like button so that other people can learn fun, effective ways to teach their dog to calm when called. And that is it for this one, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!